Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jess Anthony, the Grant Programs Manager for the Arkansas Arts Council, and I want to welcome you back to ArtLinks 2021, Bouncing Forward. Our first session this afternoon will let you know about what's new in arts advocacy in Arkansas, and we're pleased to welcome a panel of distinguished speakers to talk about recent legislation that created arts technology boot camps to develop a statewide database of artistic, cultural, and technological resources. We're waiting on a couple of our legislators to join us. So I'll go ahead and get the boilerplate out of the way here before we officially start. But before we actually get started, I'd like to point out that all sessions today are closed captioned and recorded. Although you can see and hear the panelists, you as attendees are muted and cannot be seen. We do see who has signed in, however, and we'll be able to communicate with you if we need information. We also have a chat channel that is dedicated to tech troubleshootings. During the panel discussion, the Q&A channel will be working, and you will have the opportunity to post questions by typing them at any time during the presentation. Just click on the icon on the bottom menu. We will collect your questions during the discussion and pass them on to the speakers once they have finished their presentations. Patrick Ralston is here with us, and he's going to be moderating our session today. So I'm going to turn this over to him and let him introduce the speakers or tell you what's happening at this point.
And thank you, Jess. Thank you again for everybody for joining us. This is an opportunity for us to talk to a couple of our legislators who are, of course, the chairs of the Arkansas the Legislative Arts Caucus. The difficulty in dealing with legislators, especially when they're in a special session, is that they have to legislate. And so, we are still waiting for Senator Elliott and Representative Warren to join us. And so I'm going to go ahead and move on to our third panelist, who is a good partner for the Arkansas Arts Council. And that is Sandy Royce Martin. She is the current chair of Arkansans for the Arts, and Arkansans for the Arts is our statewide nonprofit advocacy partner. And most state arts agency directors like me will tell you that we are as state agencies, as public institutions, we don't really advocate as much as we educate. Sometimes we educate rather vigorously. But we are also we also have relationships with organizations like Arkansans for the Arts, which are nonprofit and can do some of the heavy lifting, especially in regard with working directly with the legislature. Sandy, I'm going to just tell you a little bit about her. She is the president and CEO of Procom Eureka Incorporated in Eureka Springs. She started Procom in 1996 in Kansas City, Missouri, after a career in advertising and broadcasting management with Scripps Howard Broadcasting Group, CBS, NBC, Fox. She served on the boards of NBC Advertising Promotion Board, Kansas City Marketing and Advertising Council, and was president of Promax International. Her experience includes community collaboration, business and community economic development and management, tourism, arts, and entrepreneurial awards for marketing, advertising, filmmaking. The list goes on, and I want to just let Sandy talk, but she is currently, as I said, the chair of the board of the Arkansans for the Arts. And Sandy, I'm going to let you take it away here while we wait for our other panelists.
Okay, thank you so much, Patrick. And that makes me feel tired and old, but it's been a good career and keeps getting better. I was privileged to follow in the footsteps as chair of Arkansans for the Arts from Garbo Hearn, who is one of the founders of the organization. And we have been working since the beginning of Arkansans for the Arts with the Arkansas Arts Council as great partners to promote and advance the arts. And in, I believe, Patrick, it was 2017, the Arts Council introduced a panel during one of the ArtLinks about the creative economy. And it was kind of the first time that the creative economy phrase and what it meant was kind of introduced to Arkansas. Two people on our board, Garbo Hearn and Dr. Lenore Schultz, picked up on that and have been like a dog with a bone on researching and following the creative economy since that time. That has morphed into Arkansans for the Arts having a creative economy committee that is dedicated to studying that and advancing it. Obviously, the creative economy is driven by arts and culture and heritage. And last year during COVID, we were scheduled to have our traditional Arts Advocacy Day, which is commonly held on the Capitol Hill for a full day advocacy thing. That obviously had to change a little bit. And we pivoted and became all digital, which wound up to be probably the best thing that ever happened, because it led us to doing a series of about 50 videos from a variety of arts organizations, creatives, art supporters, funders, our Legislative Arts Caucus members, and videos talking about arts and the creative economy. And we themed it Arts Means Business, so that we would stay focused on the fact that the arts are probably going to be not going to be, we knew at that point that they were going to be the first hit, the hardest hit, second with tourism, but also the first and the most resilient to bounce back and to help everybody through their recovery. And sure enough, that is exactly what happened. During the day, we had Congressman French Hill on from the US Congress, certainly Senator Joyce Elliott, Representative Les Warren, Representative Garner from Denise Garner, several of our Arts Caucus members were on, and it struck a nerve with them, the whole conversation, and being able to hear the stories and seeing the videos from all around the state. Senator Elliott contacted us within a couple of weeks after Advocacy Day and said, there's something here that is potential for legislation. Can we get together and can we brainstorm? We immediately contacted Patrick and had a partner type brainstorming session before we met with Senator Elliott, which we did. That happened in late November through about mid-December. And we started working on the legislation that turned into what is now called Act 577, creating the Arkansas Legislative Arts and Technology Boot Camps. The bill was introduced March 11th at the Capitol with 79 co-sponsors. Senator Elliott and Representative Warren worked very, very hard to make sure that it was bipartisan. And with that amount of co-sponsors, I would say they hit a home run with that. It was introduced, as I said, March 11th at the Capitol, and it rushed through the committees, went to the floor, and was signed into law on April 7th by the governor. So that fast track was really impressive to us. And so we knew that we had a, and I see in the chat channel, and Simone, you're absolutely right. Senator Hendren voted for it, and he did point out during the session that it's the first tripartisan vote that the House and the Senate has ever had. So thank you, Simone. So that created the boot camps. The first boot camp was held November 20th, a couple of weeks ago at the Capitol to introduce. Patrick was there with us, and we did an overview. If you go to the Arkansans for the Arts website under Arts and Technology, you can get a link to the whole proceeding, as well as download some resources and some research that we presented to the committee members at that time. One of the things that we're really excited about is we partnered with Cash, and were able to purchase a very dynamic research suite called Creative Vitality. It's a product of the West Staff Group. And it allows us to take a pretty deep dive into the creative economy within Arkansas. So we can literally provide county information, industry information, sector information, combinations thereof, slice it and dice it in a variety of ways, and even provide it for the legislators within their district. That was very well received. It's the first time that's been able to be provided to them. So we see a great use for that. We got word a week and a half ago that our next boot camp is going to be October 26th. And we believe, although it's not completely confirmed yet, that it's going to be in Pine Bluff. The concept between the boot camps, about the boot camps, is to have them in a variety of locations around the state so that the legislators can actually be exposed to a variety of things that are happening in arts and culture and the creative economy in every sector and every industry from a variety of points of view. So we're hoping that we will hit Pine Bluff. We most likely will not see a boot camp in late November or December because of the holidays. So we will resume again most likely in January and set that agenda. Senator Elliott and Representative Warren want to set a regular schedule for those. They've selected Wednesdays so far. We hope that sticks, but as soon as we get the schedule of when they're all going to be together, then we will we'll publish those and give them to Patrick for publication on the Arts Council distribution list as well. So is that a pretty good opening snapshot, Patrick?
That's a great rundown right there. That basically tells me what you've been doing for the last 3 years. Yes, indeed. It has been a process. And I mean, again, as a state agency, we have watched, of course, we've been in conversation. I've been in conversation with you and Garbo and Aaron Holiday, your executive director. And I know that this is we've worked hard to get to this point, and you all have had a lot of conversations with members of the Legislative Arts Caucus, but just to clarify what you're saying, this is not as we move these as the boot camp moves around the state. This is not just going out to see the local dog and pony. This is an actual policy discussion, and overlaid with data that you have access through your application that you're using. I see that I'm just going to take some questions as they come in here, and I see that Lana Hallmark, who you know, of course, from the board, is asking. She were just saying it would be great to see some of that creative economy data overlaid and compared with arts education data from the Arkansas Arts Education Data Project, which is, of course,
we would love to do that.
Yeah, and I think that is an opportunity right there. And
we had a lot of, in prep, if I could interrupt you for a second, Patrick. I apologize.
Mm-mm.
One of the things we did for preparation for the first boot camp, when we learned when that was going to be, was we held focus groups with in all of the 8 arts districts. And we had, I think it was 165 participants in those focus groups, everywhere from education, higher ed, K-12 to technology partners, to economic development, community development. And to Lana's point too, higher education and the whole educational system were highly engaged in the discussion and the process, because they're on the front line of knowing what they're teaching these creatives. And of course, part of our goal is to make sure that we retain, not only we train and attract talent, but we retain our current talent that's in the state and raise the level of awareness of the incredible talent that is in the state. We have also posted all of the videos from all of those focus groups on our website if you want to hear some rich conversation and get some idea of what's going on around the state. That's a good snapshot of it. We were kind of blown away by some of the projects that were happening. And one of the clear things that came out of that, which we are, and we're going to talk with the Arts Council about it going forward next year, is the need for more connection and connectivity and the ability to start collaborations and to start partnerships across the state. There were several people that discovered they were working on similar projects, but they might have been in an educational silo or a corporate silo or something, that just by reaching out to other people that they could advance their projects. So that's one of the things that we're working on. And one last thing, and then I'll be quiet, Patrick, and let you ask the questions. Patrick alluded to it, that there are outcomes specific to the legislation that we are responsible to get to. And one is a comprehensive database and inventory of all the arts and cultural inherited assets that are available in Arkansas. That's a mammoth project, and it's going to be an ongoing project. So we encourage you all to, again, help us develop that database. You can go to our website again, and there's a Connect with Arts and Technology. It's a simple little thing with an email and a name, and we'll contact you and make sure we get the information to include you. And then, as Patrick said, it is to come out with a policy paper, recommendations, hopefully some legislation that will advance and support the arts and the creative economy. And the whole time couching that into economic development, community development, and how the creative economy and the arts literally intersects with every sector of business and every industry in Arkansas, whether it's agriculture, food, manufacturing, or the traditional ones. And that message is being picked up, and it's coming through loud and clear.
Well, and I think that the report, the product of the work that your organization working with the committee, with the boot camp, that's the most important thing. I spent on and off 14 years working on legislative staff, and staffed a few of these task forces, and it always seemed like the hardest part was where you actually had to put into a report what you actually needed to do, especially if there was money involved. And there are political and process reasons why that's always a challenge. But certainly I'll be interested to see what what the product is that that the boot camp generates next year. But but it is a conversation that's long overdue. As I have often point out, we haven't had in this state a comprehensive, even an attempted, well, I'd say a comprehensive survey of the creative economy since about 2009, excuse me, about 2008. The Rockefeller Foundation conducted a survey, and that, of course, was in another time of another recession that was immediately after the Great Recession started, and so the numbers were somewhat skewed in that there, because arts numbers, arts and entertainment, arts and culture actually looked stronger because sectors like transportation and especially construction were artificially depressed during that time. But it is an opportunity now for us to explore these questions and continue the discussion. But and let's see, I have not been watching our questions here, and so let's see if I've got let me check my boards here.
Sandy, let me ask a question while we're sitting here.
Here comes Jess
at the moment, but the meetings that you're having, are these sort of like town hall meetings? Basically, just the community gets together and discusses the situation. I wasn't sure exactly how you had this set up.
No, it's a working committee of the legislator. So it's a formal proceeding that is chaired by Senator Elliott and Representative Warren. The Bureau of Legislative Research serves as the staffing. We work with Senator Elliott and Representative Warren in suggesting agenda items. The format that we've kind of settled on is to, not the first one that we had on the 20th was kind of like the kickoff and an organizational and a review of the creative economy, the background of the bill. We did do about a 9-minute video that hit highlights of creative economy and the arts and the intersection of arts and technology, and 4 key areas for them that are specified in the legislation. And that was agriculture, tourism, community development, technology, and product development, consumer product development, and cottage industry. So we got the direction from Senator Elliott to follow the legislation as much as possible. That format then for the next one is to go to a different location, preferably one that has some diverse field trip opportunities, so that there will be a presentation of that area. So this will be that arts district in the Pine Bluff area, what's happening with the arts, technology, arts, culture in that area. We'll present the research, creative vitality research and other research we may have in that area about that area, so that they have a real good understanding of what's going on. And then they are all public meetings. They are all streamed. So the public has the opportunity to come and speak to the legislators. Senator Elliott is probably going to limit those presentations because we expect and hope that there will be a lot of engagement as we go around the state. So she's probably going to need to limit those to, I don't know what, 2-3 minutes or whatever it might be, but there will be an opportunity for that. And then obviously she wants to leave a lot of room for questions, for exploration of concepts, ideas, recommendations that come from the field, and then to take 1 to 3 mini little field trips. Pine Bluff is a great little microcosm. We're probably going to have it at the Economic Development Center at UAPB there. And then, of course, the generator is very close there. And, there are several opportunities to showcase arts and technology in the intersection and creative economy, and clearly what can happen with community development and rejuvenating a community through what they've done with Go Forward Pine Bluff and the whole Delta Blues project and all that stuff. So that seems to be, so far, a comfortable format in going forward in these meetings. And then it is Senator Elliott and Representative Warren's job to kind of push them towards some kind of a summary or recommendations as outcomes of each of those sessions. So it is a formal procedure.
Yeah, that's exciting. It's really a legislative investigation of sort of the arts culture in Arkansas. So that's really exciting.
And the boot camp is actually, you can differentiate it from a meeting of the caucus. This is a little bit of inside baseball, but caucuses do not get, they're not afforded certain perks that committees are, and or working groups. And so the caucus doesn't, you don't get paid per diem to attend a caucus. But the legislation here for this boot camp actually provides reimbursement, travel reimbursement, and per diem for legislators to attend. So there's an incentive, and as we used to say on the legislative staff, per diem makes the world go around. So I'm really glad that we're having this conversation, and we're certainly glad to follow along and be a part where it's proper. But well, it does look like I have to say that I do have to report that if you'll give me just a sec, Representative Warren has messaged me, and he is not going to be joining us. As you all know, we are in the middle of a special session dealing with a number of issues, and they're very busy over there, and so we haven't heard back from Senator Elliott yet. But,
yes, I did.
You did? Okay. Same situation.
He says, OMG, Sandy, I am tied down with legislation. Please cover.
Yeah. It's a dirty job. Somebody's got to do it. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I think that it's exciting to have this conversation and have it statewide where people can attend, follow along. Certainly, legislative meetings are they're open meetings, subject to open meeting law, and they're also archived on the video is archived at their website. And I actually put the General Assembly's website in the chat here. www.arcleg.state.ar.us, and that's a place you can get information on your local legislator, and you can you can see the calendars and all the agenda items for upcoming meetings. So it's a very handy information resource. But
would you have other ideas about other things that people can do to help promote this?
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up. And I neglected to mention that the actual boot camp committee is made up of 16 legislators, 8 from the House, 8 from the Senate that were appointed by the House leadership, and then plus Senator Elliott, Representative Warren. So 18 legislators. Interesting thing happened on the first boot camp. There were about 6 or 8 legislators that were not appointed to the committee that did attend that session, which really was encouraging for us as well. So that kind of indicates, going to your question and prompt, Jess, that there is a lot more interest out there than those who are participating officially on the committee, and that they are looking for that information in their districts. And we hope that by moving around the state, that they will get involved, and that they would also invite people that they know that are important to get involved and to come to those sessions as well. So to your question, the more we can support the legislators, not only those that are just appointed and serving on the committee, but those within your district to be, number one, aware of the boot camps, be aware of the information, the research, and other resources that are available, not only to the committee, but to them, and to thank them for their support. Chances are, with 79 co-sponsors, one of those co-sponsors was in your area. I'm sending a nice little thank you note, or sending them information about what you're doing in their district to promote the arts and technology and help the creative economy through revenue, jobs, workforce development, retraining, all those topics that go within that conversation. I think you will get back tenfold the effort that you put in with a phone call or a text or an email to them, because it's apparently a conversation that we keep hearing is now being picked up all over the state, which thrills us no end. The more we can get creative economy to fall off, off people's tongues, and creative economy with information and data to back it. Because as Patrick alluded to, the research has been old, if not somewhat tainted. The creative vitality research is current as it can get. It's a hybrid right now of 2019 data with some of the 2020 census data factored in. They update it twice a year, and the 2020 data will be updated, I believe, in January, no later than February of next year. So it's pretty current that we get that information. So the more you can help spread the word, and we've got, I know Patrick's and Jess have sent it out. We've got it on our website. There's a single sheet fact sheet about Act 577. There are tons of resources as far as samples of, there's one great research snapshot of the creative economy, arts and technology for the state of Arkansas that shows where job growth has gone, industries with highest sales, earning, occupations, those types of things. So the more we can educate and inform everyone, particularly you all helping us keep the legislators engaged and, dare I say, focused on the positive outcome that we believe this will have and impact, we all win.
I thoroughly agree. And let me just expand on one thing that I do know, and that is that never in history has it been easier for constituents in Arkansas to communicate with their individual lawmakers, be it their representative or their senator. And again, if you are I would say that whether you are an artist or really any citizen, but especially artists and arts organizations, you need to have a relationship with your local state senator, your local representative. Usually, very often there'll be more than one in your area, in the House. But get to know them, and you can communicate with them through email. They are all listed on the website that I gave you there. This is participatory democracy, and Arkansas is still a place where it's easy to talk to your lawmakers and develop a relationship, make your voice heard. And so, I encourage all of our constituents to take that very seriously. Well, and it does look like that we have lost the legislative part of our panel today. Unfortunately, like I said, legislators going to legislate. And so, Sandy, anything in closing that you would like to bring to the table?
Just that, to remember the resources that are available through the Arkansas, Arts Council, as well as Arkansans through the Art, just to do a pitch. We're like the Switzerland in the state. our role is to advocate for you all. And to do that effectively, we need to know, number one, what you're doing. Well, number one, who you are. Number two, what you're doing. And number three, how we can help. The Legislative Arts Caucus is still intact. It is not meeting on a regular basis because these boot camps are kind of taking their role. Senator Elliott and Representative Warren expect that the Arts Caucus will grow. That's a voluntary caucus to join. That is going to grow and get stronger, and that probably whatever policy or recommendations come out with the report will be turned over to the Arts Caucus to work on. So that strength for your voice and shouting your voice out is going to be there and be stronger, we believe, in the future. So engage. That's all I can say. Don't think your voice doesn't matter. It matters now more than ever before. And for the first time, we have ears and eyes listening and watching that actually want to do something to help. So if we don't take advantage of that, shame on us. And we have a great opportunity, and it's easy and it's kind of fun to engage with them.
Well, I appreciate the work that you're doing on this and the conversation that you've started. Certainly appreciate what Senator Elliott and Representative Warren are bringing to the table, and being the, founding a not just a legislative arts caucus, but a bipartisan legislative arts caucus, which is quite an achievement. And anyway, look forward to following the discussion. So with that, thanks, Sandy, and we'll turn it back over to Joyce.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. It's really great to have you filling in for this whole session. It was great. And really wonderful information, a great, exciting sort of thing that the legislature is involved with. So we're really excited to see where this goes. Let me say that if you have other questions or information you want to share, please write them in the chat box or send them to us at the Arts Council. Our next session will begin at 3 p.m. and we're going to feature new trends in social media marketing to help you better advocate for arts, culture, and their impact on the creative economy. Our guest speaker is Ava Koploff, who's with Marathon Digital in New York City. I heard her at the AFTA conference this summer, and she gives a great introduction to how you can use social media. She's really, really exciting. So please come back at 3 o'clock to hear this discussion on social media marketing. Use your Zoom email link that we sent you, and we'll join you in a little over a half hour. Thanks a bunch.